What's going on, beautiful Facebook world? It's the being known as Shanice Star coming all up in your space to interrupt the indeed programming taking place, beautiful people. En route to a destination, and I actually still don't know what to call this live, as there's a couple of things I want to vibe on. Sensitive matters for some people. It's been a pretty heavy day for myself, actually. Since the moment I rose, it's been pretty heavy. Just the same, let me see who might be available to chop it up with me live. And for those of you who are catching the replay, how are you? Howdy. Yeah, a little bit of a lot right now. You guys can see the beautiful butterfly right there in the background. Multi-dimensional on this side of town with our people. Multi-dimensional on this side of town with our people. All right, beautiful people, let me see who's available to chop it up with me. Like I said, a little bit of a lot right now. Hold on one second. Be right with y'all. Just inviting some people. I trust that everyone is experiencing a beautiful day, a present day, even if it's not beautiful to you, that we're being present. All right, beautiful people. In about 30 seconds. All right. Peace, beloved Kende. Peace. All right, so again, shout out to those of you who are live and those of you who are catching the replay. Peace, love, and light wherever you're at right now in your journey. So like I said, a little bit of a lot. So for those who are going to be able to be with me as I bounce around within this conversation, right? All the dots will connect eventually. So the first thing I definitely want to vibe on is why it's so crucial. And again, these are all my perspectives, my own suggestions, my own experiences. Right now, I'm not talking about something that you can go find. I mean, you can find it in the book, but I'm not talking to you about something that I just read in the book right now. Real life experiences. And the thing I'll talk about is like why it's so important that we really understand who's in our association, right? Who's in our association and why getting information is so crucial. See if I can prop this up somewhere because my hands don't feel like it's going to get tired. Right? Why getting information is so crucial, right? So why association is so key. And having diversified associations, and why allowing information in is so key. Hope you guys can still hear me because I'm putting it on my cup. Peace. So, about 2 weeks ago, some of you called my live a couple of weeks ago, where I was very emotional, right? I was speaking about being there for people, not just when they end up on their deathbed, you know. And I went to go visit a brother, dope brother, amazing brother. Not someone that's in my inner association, so to say, yet someone that I've associated with for maybe over like the past 15 years. And he was diagnosed with brain cancer. Went to go pay him a visit. And we have definitely great memories in the memory file. You know, traveled together, went to parties together, stuff like that. So I go to visit him. And again, as I continue this conversation, for those who know as I believe, and as I even posted earlier today, please be mindful of when people speak, even when I'm speaking right now. Allow it to help you self-inspect and self-reflect. It's not for you really to be nosy about who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about. It's more so to be present enough for you to be like, how can I self-inspect? How can I pay attention to this? And is this showing up in my life? That whole type of thing. So be mindful of, you know, when we're reading and listening to things, as to where we're not self-inspecting and assessing our own situation as a result of what someone else is sharing. Right? So I just want to share that. So it's not for us to be like, oh my God, this person has brain cancer. No, I want you to pay attention to the messages within it and see how you could possibly apply it in your life, in your family, etc., etc. So, go to visit him. The moment I walk in, I'm like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? You know, now mind you, he doesn't have, you know, he's not on life support or anything like that. He does have a feeding tube, right? So, walk in, hug him, rub his face. How you doing? How you been? Listen, I was going to come see you. Last time we saw each other, we was out dancing and partying. I sit down, have my crossword puzzle. I put on some binary beats, you know, as far as the waves and mental stimulation, etc., instead of regular music, right? Because I was told that he likes to listen to, like, music. But I'm like, nah, I'm not going to play that when I go see him. I want to play something else. So as I'm sitting there and I'm being present, so I asked the nurse, you know, so, you know, can he understand me? Can he understand me? Can he hear me? Like, is there any movements? She's like, no, he's just laying here. He's just laying here. Now, mind you, before that, as I was speaking with him, as I was rubbing him, there was a couple of grunts there, right? Grunts, gestures. He started moving his leg. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if that was just, you know, reflexes or what. Yet as she's speaking, in my brain, in my mind, whatever space you want to call it, I'm like, it's amazing to me how we have so many people around us when we're in states like that who don't believe, right? Who really don't believe. You know, people who don't believe people can make a comeback from situations like that. It's amazing that those are the people that we have around us at those times. It's like when we really think about it, like whether it's doctors or nurses, and we think about their level of faith or their belief system, period. And it's like these are the people we choose to have around us when we are so-called, you know, in an irreversible state. So I finished my crossword puzzle and I'm still writing. Again, got the music playing. And I look up and he has a TV, he has a television. So obviously someone's paying for him to have his television on. And on it is just a television guide flowing. It's just a television guide scrolling. And I'm like, what if something else would have been playing on that television? What if something else? I'm not the one to say what that something else has to be. But what if it was some affirmations, some wave music, some beats, like something positive that would be playing in that room all day long, opposed to just the television guide or Judge Judy or whatever. But what if something else? So then also as I'm sitting there, and now mind you, I'm literally having this mental conversation as I'm there. I'm like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Now again, if you don't understand the difference between an assessment, observation, and a judgment, be mindful of judging my words, right? Let me just say that right now, because I'm not judging that someone's a bad person or because they're not there by someone's bedside. That's not what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking of alternative things where it's like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Like, where's somebody at this point? Like, how would his situation possibly be? Not saying it could be reversed, but how would his situation be right now just if somebody in his association believed differently and executed differently? Because maybe they do believe differently, but they're not executing it. But believe differently and execute it differently in a manner of, now I believe he can still hear us. I believe that basically you can come back from any situation because we are the best creation there is, right? What if someone else just believed differently in his association and executed differently? So as I go back to the first topic that I wanted to talk about, the power of our associations, who do we really have around us and how do they believe? How do they actually believe? Right? Because there's so much hypocrisy out here right now. And we don't even know it's hypocrisy, because sometimes we hear that word and we get a negative feeling about it. Like, I'm not a hypocrite, where it's like, okay, let's stay neutral. Let's stay neutral and really dissect what that means. So you believe, God is a God of all things and anything is possible through them that believe. We say these things, yet and still, yes, irreversible. Yes, he's going to be leaving us soon. It's like, how do we really believe? How are we really believing right now? So it's like, who do we really have around us? And even me, right? As I mentioned, it's not about me judging someone else's situation, but for me to use it as a self-inspection tool. Where I'm like, oh, I got to make an edit to some of my documents I have in writing. I need to make an edit where, should that end up being my situation, who I want around me. Like, I need to make an edit. I need to make an edit to that. Where I didn't have that in my documents, as far as who I want around me, things I want being played, things I want being said to me. Should I end up on a bed where you can't physically hear me speak? So that triggered me to make an edit to my affairs, right? Yeah, who do we really have around us? Do we even really have people around us that believe something's, reversible? My father, right? My father started going blind when I was in high school, right? My father was maybe like 2 years ago, diagnosed, right? Prostate cancer. Notice I don't say he has, right? Diagnosed with these things, right? And he and I have been building more often than not lately. And I remember saying, like, Daddy, do you believe that you can see again? You believe that you can get your eyesight again? Like, I believe you can get your eyesight again. Like, do you believe that there are ways? And then we started building and talking about beliefs, right? Because he's a Christian. He believes in Jesus. So I'm like, I know there's a scripture somewhere in that book where they talk about how you can reverse some things. And, like, how do you believe and who do you believe in? Like, do you believe that you could see again? Like, I know you're taught not to look into the sun, but actually you should look into the sun. Shout out to my beloved Kende, who assisted me with that, with sun gazing. Again, the power of those that are around you and who have information that you don't have. Because then I shared that with my father. I was like, Daddy, right now, because it was actually winter time when I first started sharing this with him. I was like, when the sun starts coming back out, I'm going to need you to go sit outside on your deck and just stare in the direction of the sun. I said, because even though you can't, quote unquote, see the sun, can you feel where the sun is coming from? He said, yes. I said, okay, I'm going to need you just to take your glasses off and just stare into the direction of the sun. But we're taught you shouldn't stare into the sun. Right? We're taught that you shouldn't stare into the sun. And I'm not here to tell you how you should believe. I'm just saying that it's amazing how many people we have around us that don't believe in healing and that you can heal yourself. And then we wonder why we're walking around here sick, right? So I was like, Dad, I believe that, we can get your eyesight back. I said, but do you believe? Do you believe that? I believe that. Do you believe that? So I'm just sharing that as an example as it relates to the brother that I went to go visit, where it's like, who do we have around us when we are going through situations? Like, I did a video, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, a sister that transitioned, but before she transitioned, there was people on her page like saying, things aren't looking good. Things aren't looking good. And we believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Again, we regurgitate these things, but do we really believe it? Things aren't looking good. It doesn't look like she's going to make it. I'm going to need you to get the fuck out of my hospital bedroom. That's what I'm going to need you to do. Right? But we're not taught to even pay attention to what we're saying. Things aren't looking good. I don't think she's going to make it. And then because of who we're associated with, we're not even taught to even really analyze and pay attention to the words that we're speaking. And do we even believe that there's life and death in this? Do we really, really believe that? And if so, why would you say some shit like that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Even if you don't say it out loud, why would you say it up in here? Or wherever this is, right? And I was like, wow. And that sparked another live. And that was a couple months ago. And now we're right back here again. So again, I was like, what if someone was here every single day with him? Not necessarily the same person. What if someone was here every single day? Just speaking things, you know, moving his leg up and down, a body in motion stays in motion. Just what if? What if? Not just to come by and and bring the flowers and say my goodbyes. What if there was someone there that believed that no, he still exists on another plane, and we're going to basically be the water, be the air, be the sun to the seed known as his being, to help him, her, you know, reconnect. What? Because again, we're not really taught to really inspect our associations, because it's like, where are the people at? Like, where are those people at? Where are those people at? Coming to say my goodbyes. How about you come to give me life? How about that, right? So that was that situation. So now there's another situation with another brother who he is on life support. This brother I'm talking about is on life support. And actually we're en route to go visit the brother, right? But what caught my attention was his sister. His sister who lives in California. Not sharing any names, right? She posted, and when I say I almost got extra emotional, because what she posted was exactly what I was thinking about the buddy I went to go visit who has brain cancer 2 weeks ago. And I said, where is everybody? She literally said, this is what I need. I need for people to commit for 52 weeks. We need a 52-week commitment. And every week, someone's going to take shifts, going to check in on my brother. Going to check in on him, making sure that the facility knows that he has family that cares about him. Those who have been incarcerated, you know about that. For people that people know you have family. But then she said, I need people to go there and speak health into him. To speak health into him. His body is still there, and we just need to help him connect his spirit back to his body. In all the years that I have been around people who have transitioned, who have been quote unquote sick, told they're not going to make it, I can't recall a time I've ever seen a post like that. Someone even had that energy of putting, she said, this is the plan. This is the plan. What if people really have facilities like that where that's what people really believe? The doctors, the nurses really believed that. And that you had things playing on the television to help and assist that person with reconnecting and getting the strength back to re-enter their earthly body, if that's their choice, because I believe in that too, if that's their choice. What if? But again, these aren't regular conversations. So we don't even know who the heck is around us especially if we're not paying attention, right? Because we ain't taught to. Come on, Brother Kende, you said it. Hospitals wouldn't exist if that was the case. I was building with my mom yesterday. We was driving through after coming from spa day. I'm like, yo, there's another hospital? There's another doctor's office? I said, how are we not paying attention right now that we don't realize we're living backwards, that there are so many hospitals that constantly are being built? How the hell do we think that we're getting healthier when there are constantly new wings being added to hospitals? How? But we conscious though. We woke though. These trends got people fucked up. These trends got us jacked up. More and more hospital wings to hospitals, but y'all really think we getting healthier, right? Mm-hmm. So, and just don't take my word for it. Go walk through the hospital. Go visit somebody and not be nosy, but be observant as to how people are responding in their loved one's hospital room. Pay attention to the conversations. What music is being played? Are they walking around chanting affirmations? Are they massaging bodies and, bloods and atoms and vessels? What are they really doing? Because you can speak all day long that I believe in the Most High God and all things are possible to those that believe. You can say that all day long. What are you doing? Check my lives from a couple of days ago regarding what are you doing? What you say really means nothing. What we say really is, there's levels and layers, and it gets to a point where words mean nothing to a certain degree, right? What are we doing to align that? So all things are possible to them who believe. Then what are you doing? Oh, that was the other thing that I asked, right? I asked him, I said, well, can he have stuff? My buddy I went to go visit 2 weeks ago. I'm like, can he eat or, drink something? Because he's not on life support, but he does have a feed. She said, no, he can't. But I noticed a feeding tube. What the fuck is in that feeding tube? What's in that feeding tube? Are there herbs in that feeding tube? Is there some moringa tea up in that feeding tube? Is there some black seed? Or what's in the feeding tube is the question. Because obviously you're giving him something. And then as my homegirl Crystal, right? What she said when I shared the story, she said, well, what's the family's position? What's the family saying about what they're feeding him? But again, these aren't regular conversations, but the hospitals are full. ICUs are full, but this isn't a regular conversation. But yet we got people around us when we're on the hospital bed, when we're battling what's known as cancer, when we're battling what's known as diabetes, or whatever situation it is. And this is why I say association is key. Information is key, because again, possibly our families aren't speaking this way, aren't thinking this way, because they aren't around people offering this alternative way of thinking. Maybe they're not around people that are talking about, yo, turn that music off and let's put on some meditation music, right? Let's chant some affirmation. They're not even around people speaking that language. Hint, hint, clue, clue. We welcome you to join us for the Posture Up call, right? So you don't even understand the connection of the dots between your results in your life and your association, which is why we so nonchalant about our associations. Like, so associations, you're not paying that no mind, and then in your association, no one is having. And again, I don't really mean no one, so don't take that literally. We're not even allowing new information in, so that when we're put in these positions, like who's around us offering something different. And like Crystal said, she said, even if it's just one person, like the brother I'm talking about, the second brother I'm talking about, we're en route to see. I didn't see nobody else post that on his page but his sister who lives in California. But one is enough, because guess what happened? Because then Shanice inboxed the sister. Because alignments, because I understand where she's coming from, because I just had this conversation with myself 2 weeks ago regarding another brother, the one that has that was diagnosed with brain cancer. So I inboxed her and said, I'm willing to be one. I'm willing to be one of the 52 that will go be with him 1 week out of the year. But what if she never posted that? So just offering some of us to really connect the dots between your association. Sometimes we moving so fast and we so happy with those we're around, we're not properly assessing, like, what's their mind frame like. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not for us to judge other people's situations. I'm sitting here saying utilize it as a trigger for you to trigger your own self-inspection and analysis, where it's like, actually, yeah, when Auntie so-and-so passed or Uncle so-and-so passed, no one was speaking that way. Or, so you could just, are you willing to be that one, right? To start getting new information. But then again, these things really help us to get clear. It's really a self-reflection of, you really believe as you believe? Do you really believe as you believe? Because believe is an action word. Do you really believe as you believe? But again, this isn't the usual conversation, yet death happens every day. Isn't that interesting? This is not the usual conversation, yet a good majority of us will encounter something like this or similar like this with ourselves or our loved ones, because death is a part of life. Now, we don't know how we're going to transition, but by the stats and looking in the hospital beds and life support stats, and so again, that's why I don't know what the really name is, because it's a little bit about a lot, right? And then that leads us to a whole other conversation of, we really out here without living wills. We really out here living without living wills. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation. I know that. I know that it's an uncomfortable conversation. But it's a conversation that should be had, right? It's like when I'm talking to sister girls and stuff about, talking to the brothers, they were like, okay, when was the last time you got checked? Maybe an uncomfortable conversation. However, it's a necessary conversation if you're intimate with this person. So you're just not going to have the conversation? So again, that triggered me to edit my affairs that's in order regarding, should that end up being my situation, the people I want around me and the people I don't want around me. The energy around what I want playing in my subconscious mind, all of that. When I never thought to add that. So, a little bit about a lot, beautiful people. So, continue to live life, love life. Yet understand that all the components that deal with life, and death is one of those components, right? A couple of days ago, someone posted about another transition, a sister that transitioned. And again, if you don't understand the difference between an assessment and a judgment, be mindful of taking my words as a judgment. So people, they're like, I can't believe it. This is ridiculous. Too soon, so forth and so on. And it's like, are we missing that death is that all of us, as of right now, will experience a physical death? Like, what do we mean? I can't believe this happened. It's like, we're really not being present. Now, that does not mean we should not mourn. That does not mean that we should not be sad. That does not mean any of those things. But for us to be shocked by death, what's happening here? For us to be shocked by death, to know that we don't know when it's going to happen, in most cases, I won't say all cases, that we don't know when it's going to happen, that in itself should not leave us being shocked. So again, I know these are uncomfortable conversations for many. It's not the usual conversation, especially on a Friday night. So many of us are getting ready to turn up and do it up on a Friday night. And truth be told, some people will do just that, but won't make it to a Saturday night. Every single brother that I just mentioned was speaking a minute before they no longer could speak. No, I was trying to say a day before. A minute before they stopped speaking, whether it was the stroke, whether it was the brain cancer getting aggressive, they were speaking a minute before that, a second before that. So, yes, I got a celebration to go to tonight, and I'm going to do it up. Yesterday, I was with the brothers, spa day, celebrating them. That does not mean that I am naive and oblivious to what's going on. If anything, that's the reason why I celebrate the way that I do and celebrate the wins and tell people I love them as often as I do, because I understand how death works. I was just sharing that with Crystal. I said, we talking right now, but that don't mean that I'm going to get out your car in the same state I got in your car. I get that. And so when some of us get so shocked, it's like, I don't think you're really paying attention to really how life works. Because death still shocks you. Again, I'm not saying we should not cry, we should not mourn, as I share with folks. Only Source knows how I'm going to respond when certain people transition out of my life, like my mother, like Toya, like my nephews, my niece, my sibling. Like, only Source knows how I'm going to take that. But I don't think I'll be shocked, because I speak and I'm aware that death is a part of this life experience, beautiful people. So, again, have this conversation or not. Or not. Totally up to you on when you want to have this conversation with your loved ones. May I just trigger you to be present, and understand really what's happening here, right? Understand what's happening here. Understand who do you have around you. And you can tell who you have around you by how they just talk about basic stuff. How they talk about when they get a flat tire. How they talk when they get fired. Or when their husband or their wife leaves them. You can tell their mindset by how they respond in those situations. Instead, how we do one thing is how we normally do everything, right? So just pay attention to the people you have around you. If you have someone right now that's in a hospital bed, someone that's not feeling well, it could be a basic cold. People that's in my association, they know. You better be I have a cold. Matter of fact, I think me and Vanessa even had that conversation not too long ago. Like, you have a what? You have a what? Oh, I am healing myself. Okay, that sounds better. But again, if we're not taught even those little small words and how big of an impact they have, because now you have a habit of speaking that way, even when it's about a common cold, but then you're going to speak that way about cancer too. You're going to speak that way about lupus too, because it's a pattern of conversation. Right? So I'm just saying, be mindful. Pay attention. And if you're all right with having those type of people around you, cool. I would just encourage you to connect the dots. Connect the dots with the language we're using and the vibrations that it's in.